Today I'd like to do something a bit different from my previous videos. Rather than examine how a movie does something or even the questions a movie raises, I'd like to be a bit more specific. Today, I'd like to talk to you about the ending of the film Personal Shopper. Now, it goes without saying this video will contain spoilers. If you haven't seen the movie already, I recommend it. The film follows Maureen, a young woman in the process of mentally unravelling. She's reeling from the death of her brother, unhappy with her time-consuming work as a personal shopper, and, on top of everything else, is in the process of being harassed and stalked by a mysterious stranger who keeps sending her weirdly specific and personal texts. It's a little slow in parts and unfortunately has some genuinely bad editing in places.
It's a big hotel. I'm not sure I can help you with that.
But what it does get right, it absolutely nails. There's a scene where Maureen, receiving messages from the aforementioned creepy stalker, leaves the country and spends an entire day in London before heading home, all the while barely looking up from her phone screen. We've all had heated or even scary conversations like this where the world outside the phone just melts away, and this movie does an excellent job at portraying that anxiety perfectly. Without giving anything else away, the movie takes some pretty strange turns early on. Anyway, that's my recommendation. Let's talk about the ending. Wanting to escape the chaos of her current situation, Maureen flees to Oman, where she is cornered by and has a conversation with a ghost that gives her conflicting information. It refuses to acknowledge whether or not it's her dead brother Lewis, and the answers it does give are unclear to the point where it feels like it's intentionally messing with her. She asks the spirit if this is real or if it's just her, and the reply she gets is simply yes, in the form of an affirmative thump. It's confusing and unclear, frustrating and unsatisfying, but I think it's meant to be, and on top of that, what if the answer really is yes? It's real, and it's just her. The entire movie, Maureen is haunted by questions. She's constantly on edge, internally believing, or at least wanting to believe, in some kind of afterlife, but at the same time treating anyone else with such beliefs with suspicion and trepidation. She's obsessed with her dead brother to the point where his shadow looms large over events in her life that are completely divorced from him. Since her brother's passing, her life has been at a standstill. She spends time in the old house wandering around looking for signs. She watches YouTube videos about how art and spirituality can help her commune with the dead. When she gets clandestine messages on her phone, she secretly hopes, though she's terrified to admit that to herself, that they're coming from Lewis. The time she spends away from these pursuits feels like a malaise. Both we and Maureen cannot wait to get back to her fruitless, thankless search for answers. Maureen wants normalcy desperately. She wants to move on, either to get a clear sign from the afterlife or for those nagging, terrifying ideas in her head to just go away. In Personal Shopper, Maureen is being haunted by grief itself, and it's this obsession that births the ghosts of the film. Every time Maureen is close to a conclusion, every time she's about to give up, every time it looks like she's finally finding some kind of closure or peace, something like this happens. In the world of Personal Shopper, the ghosts are real, literal. We see one, and we also see the havoc they cause, but it's not enough. Not for Maureen. The ghosts she comes face to face with meet her when she's alone, enough to plant a seed of doubt in her head that it was just her imagination. The whispers and the breaking glasses are always behind her, never direct or obvious. They give her just enough to not move on, to not let her rest, to keep her coming back and asking the same questions. Whenever they're confronted, they go quiet and they give only sheepish, taunting evidence of their existence. In this way, Personal Shopper is about grief as obsession. The movie does a great job of conveying the agony of trying to move on with your life after tragedy. The ghosts are representative of that pull, that tug in the back of your mind that's keeping you from making peace. The malicious tricksters that constantly keep her in a state of guessing. Perhaps this is the only way they can keep themselves alive, as doubt. If Maureen moves on, they'll have no influence over her, and they'll cease to exist. In this way, the ghosts become both literal and figurative. By showing the audience the ghosts in a more direct way than Maureen ever sees them, the director is actually putting us into her mindset. She already believes, or at least wants to believe when the movie opens. We need convincing. By letting us see the mischief the spirits can cause more directly than her, we're in effect being fast-tracked into the state of mind she's in. Both the audience and Maureen by the film's end know the ghosts are real, which is why it's so frustrating, so sad, so hopeless that they won't just give us what we want. They won't just say, yes, we're here, yes, I'm Lewis, yes, move on. That ending scene worms its way into our heads. We think about it because that's what they want us to think about. They want to not be forgotten. They want to live on as pain and as doubt. In the end, when Maureen asks the ghost if this is all real or in her head, and it replies, yes, it's absolutely right. Grief, Personal Shopper asserts, is a self-sustaining melody. Thank you for watching my video. Hope you enjoyed it. Please feel free to like, comment and subscribe. More in a couple weeks.